We are in a season of great disruption where so many have been displaced in their professional careers and having to learn new skills to effectively pivot and survive. Equally true, we are also in a season of massive entrepreneurial innovation where visions are being pursued and realized. Regardless of where you are at on your journey, your attitude will determine your altitude. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and we are Creative Transforming Lives. Welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and I'll be with you for the next hour. I am excited that you can join us, and I want to know where you are tuned in from. So use the comment section and post your flags and shout outs. And for those tuned in on the national channel, welcome. You can also send your feedback via WhatsApp to 501-623-7898, and our team will get those. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Belize Limited, a strategic marketing and growing innovation firm that helps you tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, TAS will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Welcome back. And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and making this show your show. I want to say shout out to Olare. I already see her commenting in the comment section from here in Belize. And I want to remind you guys, if wherever you're from, we want to hear from you. We want to know where you're tuned in from. I'm very excited about tonight's show. I have three amazing female women entrepreneurs who are in the skills service development space. They've been through the mills. They've been able to kind of go through some challenges, experience some difficulties, and yet despite all of that, rise above and established what I believe is some successful stories and journeys for us tonight. And so I want to remind you guys, if you have comments, if you have feedback, you want to be a part of the show, the discussion that's happening, reach out to us, use the comment section, use the WhatsApp information, and get your thoughts on air. So tonight we have our first guest that's going to join us. I've known her for quite some while, and the work that she's been doing, and it's an honor to have her right from here in Belize join us. And so I want to ask our team to add Miss Yvette Gill to the stage, and I just want to welcome. Good evening, Miss Gill. How are you doing this evening? It's great to have you.
Good evening, Mervin. It's truly my pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So how are you feeling this evening? I see you look I like your DJ. Headset there.
It took some getting used to, but I'm with it now. I'm excited to be here, and it's truly an honor to get this space, to have been afforded the privilege of getting this space to say a little bit about the why and what we're doing in Belize.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we can hear you loud and clear. You look great, and so definitely, I
Thank
think the
you.
DJ helmet, my headphones definitely help with that, right? But
Thank you.
without any further ado, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do. I know there's a lot of people out there who might not know about the work you're doing and what the organization you work with do, right? So tell us a little bit about who you are and also what you're doing right now.
Certainly. My name is Yvette Gill, and I've had the privilege of being a part of the YWCA, the Young Women's Christian Association in Belize for over 8 years. The Y came to Belize in 1956. So actually, this year, next month, the Y completes 65 years of
Oh,
its
wow.
presence in this country. But more from my experience, the Y came to Belmopan 8 years ago, and when the doors were open 8 years later, I'm still here. We are a service institution and not for profit. We are called Young Women's Christian Association, but we cater to the needs of women, of men, of youth, and of children. And we do so mainly through, in Belmopan, the offering of skills training,
Mm,
but in Belize City, um, in a wider field, because in Belize City, the Y also provides a very, very successful childcare institution,
mm,
a fully staffed preschool. We have a swimming pool in Belize City that offers lifeguarding and
awesome.
swimming instruction. And then we also have in Belize City a strong arm for those who are over 60, the teenagers. So that's in Belize
Teenagers.
City.
I love that. I
Yes,
love that.
the
Teenagers.
teenagers. Yes. So that is what the Y has been doing for 65 years in this country, Mark.
Wow, that's amazing. Some of what you've already touched on is very important. You guys offer
Correct.
skill training, and that's we're in a time, even as I said in the opening, because of COVID, because of the disruption that's been happening, a lot of people have had to kind of go back and relearn new skills. They've had to kind of go back
True.
and kind of get into a new space,
True.
and it hasn't been as affordable for some. It definitely takes some investment on their part. Tell us a little bit in how the services the Y is offering, how people can get access to that, and even some of the price point for those services.
Certainly. Yes, COVID makes a whole, um, gives a lot of challenges.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID, I don't even want to go way back there because this is the reality now. So we are offering skills training in a number of skills area. And indeed, there are many women, men, young people who are looking to reinvent themselves and
yeah,
they don't have the finance to do so. We welcome anybody to the Y. We encourage them to come and dialogue with us because although nothing can happen for free, we are open to dialoguing and to see how we can help. I am not above going out to seek sponsorship for people who are in dire straits and who really need to
yeah,
acquire new skills. I'm not above going out to seek help, sponsorship. We also have been successful in getting some assistance from business persons in the community who probably don't have cash to help with, but they provide some of the items we would have to purchase. And that allows us to bring down the prices of some of the courses a little bit.
yeah.
But there are some courses that are pretty expensive to run. And so I have to have paying customers in these
Yeah.
areas.
Well, it's important that we're willing to invest in our own personal development. If we're
Yes,
not willing to invest in our own personal development, then we can't expect others to do it for us. And so I
right,
applaud
right.
what you're doing. I applaud what the Y is doing, especially in a time like this, where everyone's really kind of searching and figuring out, okay, what's next for me? How do I navigate through these times, right?
Yes,
Tell me a little bit about how you got into this space, because you're obviously passionate about serving people and helping
correct.
people. So what's your story? What's your journey and how you got into this space in working with the Y?
All right. For all of my working life, I don't want to say how many years, but for all of my pre-Y working years, I have always worked in the human resource department of whatever organization I found myself in. So that is the area, that is the stamping grounds where I developed a keen interest in serving people because, in the
Mm,
human resource department, you serve your internal customers. And after doing that for very, very many years, I decided that I now wanted to serve people, but in a different way, where the bottom line is not all that matters.
yeah.
And right around that time, the Y was getting ready to open this facility in Belmopan. And I communicated with them and it went well. And so when the building was constructed through the help of the European Union and the government of Belize, along with the YWCA, I got the opportunity to be the first person in this capacity. And it has truly been a
Mm,
rewarding experience to see people coming in with very little confidence, very little skills,
yeah.
leaving equipped to
Yeah.
provide honest living for themselves, their families, their communities.
Miss Gill, my family has been a recipient of the Y. I mean, my daughter, I
Yeah.
remember when she wanted to learn to swim, but she was afraid of the water. So she was like, oh, every time I tried, I mean, I did my best. The way I learned to swim, they threw me to the water and like you swim or sink, right? So that was kind of like my approach. And but that definitely didn't work for my daughter. But anyways, she said that I want to learn to swim, but she had this fear. So we signed her up for one of the swimming
Chloe, I
courses.
remember
Chloe, yeah,
her.
and
I
man,
remember
now
her.
she's begging us to go to the river because she is really ready, and I mean, the skills she got,
Wonderful,
the confidence
wonderful.
she got from that, was amazing, right? And so I'm saying that just to as a testimony to the work that you guys are doing in equipping and empowering people. It's real. It's not just a theory, but you
No,
guys are
it
actually
it
doing it, right? And I
works.
applaud you. what
Thank
what would you
you.
say is the most rewarding experience for you?
For me, the most rewarding part of what I do here at the Y is visiting people after they have left us to see how they have progressed since we last saw them
Yeah.
and to see the difference that the 3 months that they spend at the Y has made in their lives. We see single parents
Yeah.
coping, educating their kids. We see new small businesses popping up all over the place. And most rewarding for me, many of them come back to give back to the Y something either in service, they come and teach a course for the Y, or they come and offer exposure to new students to the businesses they are now running. And
Mm.
it's just so fulfilling to see that 3 months out of their lives, 3 months out of my teachers' lives can have such far reaching effects.
Man, that's amazing. That's so amazing. So, if someone wants to learn more about the Y, connect with what you
Sure.
guys are doing, or even they learn about the different services and how they can sharpen themselves, develop themselves,
Correct.
how can they find out that
All
information?
right. Of course, if they're in the area, we are located in Independence Park in Belmapan. We are right next door to the Belize, to the Belmapan City Council in the St. Anne's Precinct Complex. We are also on St. Thomas Street in Belize City. It's hard to miss the one in Belize City. It's right at the corner opposite Atlantic Bank. And if not, by phone, we can be reached in Belize City at 223-4971 or in Belmapan at 822-0472. We have our YWCA Belize Facebook page, and we have our ywcabz.com site. And so, any of these methods, you can reach us. We'd be more than happy to share what's happening. Our courses run in 3 month cycle, much like how school used to be. January to March, April to June, summer for children, June and July for children, and then back to adults, September to December. our courses result in a certificate that conveys what you have managed to achieve during your 3 months with us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to encourage those watching and even those who will watch afterwards. Look up the why. Part of why we're doing this segment tonight is to kind of highlight the importance of personal development, skill training, and then as well as kind of bring awareness to different resources that's available. So the why is a resource that's available for you. It's an affordable resource, and there's other resources right here in Belize as well as in the region that's available for you for development and skill training, right? So I just want to thank you so much, Miss Gill, for joining us tonight. Miss Gill isn't going anywhere, anyone. She'll be back with us later on. We have 2 other guests that we do want to bring on, but I just want to thank you, Miss Gill, for just sharing a little bit more about what the Y is doing, what you're doing as well to impact lives and to inspire people, right? So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much, Merv, for having me. It's been a pleasure. See you in a
Very,
bit.
very good, very good. All right, guys. So next we have a guest all the way from St. Lucia. And again, I want to remind you guys, use our comment section. If you have questions, get them queued up, get them ready. I already see a lot of supporters for my next guest. They're blowing up our comment section. They're saying, shout out to Michelle Samuels, the Slaughterra and Startup Huddle St. Lucia is watching. So I just want to say again, for those who are tuned in, let us know where you're tuned in from, and as well share this comment, get some folks tuned in, let them know this is a segment you don't want to miss out on. So our next guest for the evening is Miss Michelle Samuels. She's from St. Lucia. Can we get her, Miss Michelle Samuel? Can we get her on? Hi, Miss Michelle. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, by God's grace. Thank you so very much, Mervin. And how about yourself?
I am doing fine, and I want to say Happy Independence Day to you guys. St. Lucia is celebrating your independence today. Is that correct?
Yes, our 42nd independence.
42nd independence. So to all our St. Lucians watching, I want to say Happy Independence Day. Actually, one of my favorite gospel soca artists, Mervin Henry, is from St. Lucia.
Oh, yes.
We had him on the show last 2 seasons back, I believe. And so if you guys want to watch that episode with Mervin Henry and kind of get some musical insights, go check it out. But good evening, Ms. Michelle. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, thank you very much again for inviting me to share my story. So my name is Michelle Natasha Samuel, and I am from St. Lucia, of course. I am a single mother of 5. And
wow.
Yes, I know it doesn't look like that, but God has blessed me.
Not.
God has blessed me.
Yeah. You are blessed.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that got some people's attention, so they're watching now. Yeah, so I basically look at myself as before an entrepreneur, I'm a woman of faith. That's the very first thing I must let people know. I'm a missionary, I'm a visionary, I'm a mother, and of course there comes the professional side to me. So I'm a professional startup business advisor, I'm a skills consultant, ecosystem builder, mentor, and the list kind of goes on. But in terms of what it is that I really do, I'm the founder and president of Slaughterra, as one of the persons who commented said. Slaughterra is a platform of programs and initiatives created for the unemployed, youth, and entrepreneurs. We seek to source, empower, and connect them through education, training, and entrepreneurship.
That's very awesome, very powerful, actually. And I'm still kind of hung up on the 5 mother of 5. So I wanna tie that in. I want how do you do it? Like, that's my first question. How do you balance it all? Like your family, the ventures you're doing, and this is a question I know a lot of entrepreneurs are grappling right now. So give us some insight. How do you balance it as a leader in this space and all the different things that you juggle?
Okay, great. So that is a really great question. And I do get that question a lot. So first of all, just to let everybody know, all 5 children do not live with me currently. So that helps to balance it out. Yeah. So I do have relatives that assist. Praise be to God. Yeah. My eldest lives with my mom. My second lives with, my dad. My stepson lives with his mom. So that's where the 5 comes in. I gave birth to 4, but I have 5.
Awesome.
And my 2 youngest live with me. But I do make time for each and every one of them. And it's really key to me that I always ensure that my kids get to see that I don't just spend countless hours working, but I also spend time with them. That is very, very important to me. So I run by a schedule, a daily schedule. So now because of COVID, I'm basically a stay-at-home mom and a teacher. So I teach during the first hours of the morning between 9 to 12. I'm a teacher. Anywhere between 12 and 2, I do consultations. Anywhere from 2 to 4, I have meetings and other stuff. In the evenings, I have events, and in between, I make some time for my partner. I'm actually currently engaged, so I'm hoping the single part that I mentioned didn't get his attention too much. So, honey, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I do actually balance it off well. It's just a matter of time management.
I love that. And time management is so key. And it's an area that I've been growing in and learning more and more the importance of time management. If we're going to accomplish all the goals, if we're going to accomplish everything we want to do, we have to learn how to manage our time well and place proper priorities on the right things, right? And so tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. How did you what got you going? What got you started on a whole in where you're doing right now?
Okay, that is a really great question. So I would say that I started in 2012. When I say my entrepreneurial journey, that is where I started, finding myself and what it is that I was good at. Because everybody is born with skills and talents. Yeah. Because everybody has something, but it takes a while for you to get to know what your skill set really is, and then capitalize on it and find out what is your purpose in this world. So in 2012, I noticed that I had a skill for organizing and networking and pulling large crowds together and reaching out to persons beyond my shores, and even people I would say in some places persons would consider above my pay grade. I would be able, to connect with these people. And I had that knack, for doing that. And also advising people based on observations I've made in the market. So I was always very observant. And you find I had this bit of a investigative nature in me. So by doing that, I was able to really do a lot of introspection into myself and what is it that I'm good at and what can I contribute. I was always asking myself this question. And my last paying job, was in 2012 when I worked at a radio station as an on-air co-host and as a sales clerk. And when I was let go of this job, I started to say to myself, why do I keep going into jobs and sharing my skills with these people? They capitalize on it, and then after that, that's basically it for me. So I decided, this is the last time I'm going to work for anybody, on their terms. So I started to really look at what I was good at and then start to develop, and work on that. It's
good. I actually wanted to ask you on that because I know there's a lot of people there, especially right now in light of the COVID, in light of what's kind of going on. There's a lot of people trying to figure out, how do I find out what I'm good at? How do I find out what's my natural giftings, and then how do I capitalize on that to make an income? Because a lot of people are good at a lot of stuff, but then they're just good at it. They're not capitalizing on it to generate a revenue. So what would you say to that person who, first of all, they're trying to figure out what they're good at, and then secondly, how do they capitalize on that to make a revenue?
Okay, so I learned, that's a really great question, Mervin. Thank you very much. I learned how to do that through an experience. So in 2017, I got the privilege of participating in the Young Leaders of the Americas initiative. And that participation took me to the US for 6 weeks. So I was away from my family, away from anybody that I knew, going to a state that I had never been to. So now this would have me opening up myself and thinking outside of the box as to what I know myself to be capable of. So I was then placed in with an organization that deals with workforce development. That was the Full Employment Council in Kansas City, Missouri. And I had to get up every morning for 7 o'clock to be at work for 7:30, and then, go out with on this outreach initiatives that my trainer Dan Smith had me accompany him with. I also had to help process persons who came in to look for jobs, and also persons in situations. And I looked at how he dealt with persons. I mean, he had a big title, but when he spoke with them, people understood that he really empathized with them. And that's how you
Good.
connect with people.
It's good.
And then when I looked at his skill and I said to him, how is it that you're able to be, so personable with people, and, they're able to, like, open up themselves to you and to trust you? And he said, you just have to find out what you're really good at, and work on that. And he introduced me to several people that I connected with, and they each said the same thing, which made me think that that was just the natural culture of, KCMO people, that they looked for what it is that they were good at, and then they capitalized on it. But not just that, you also have to look at, is there a need for what I have?
Yeah.
So that is also the other aspect of it, because you can be really good at something, but then the market is so saturated with people who are good at things similar to you that you won't be that successful in it. So at the end of the day, what you have to look at is what current problems people have that you're hearing about. That's why you have to be very observant.
Yeah.
What current problems are going on around your community, around your economy, that people are generally complaining about, and what of your skills can meet that need, can solve that problem. And then what you do is to find out who else is solving that problem, and find out what steps are they taking to solve this problem. Ask questions, do your research. There's nothing wrong in, doing a little SBA. Think of yourself as a student in training. We never finish learning. We're learning every single day. So do that SBA and find out what is it. So ask yourself this question, first of all. What problems are currently existing around my community? Start in the places that you already know, right? It makes no sense to start in places that you're not familiar with. So start in your own community. What current problems are people currently facing? Are any of my skills and talents capable of meeting those needs? Can I create something that can meet those needs or solve these problems? And then find out who else is trying to solve this very same problem. When you do these three things, then you can know your place in the market. And then from that, you need a mentor who can help guide you through the process. So that's basically the very first steps.
That is amazing. And for those who are watching, I hope you guys are holding on to that. And those who will watch, I hope you guys are making note of that, because right now, more than ever, there's a lot of need in the market, but we also need to do our research. We need to make sure that we're finding where do we fit and connect in. And I love that you mentioned Wildlife. I was also a part of the Wildlife. In 2018, I was stationed in Boston, so I'm a Wildlife alumni as well. So it's really a pleasure hearing that. And I want to actually mention, if right now Wildlife is they're doing their final call, not final call, but they're doing a call for the 2021 cohort. So there's a couple days still. So if you guys just look up Wildlife Young Leaders of the America Initiative, if you want to get an experience outside of your space, outside of your country, and just kind of connect in with another country, another business that's doing something similar like you, and kind of get some traction under you. That's a good initiative to be a part of. Well, I wanna ask you just in closing, what are you currently working on right now, and what are you currently doing right now in your space?
Wow. Thank you so much for that question. And I like the fact that you mentioned that you saw me doing quite a lot, and you're not exaggerating.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I cannot do half of the things that I do, without the help of my team. I have a really great team, working with me. And sometimes, it almost seems as if they're my siblings, which is, they're always spending that much time with me. They're involved in almost everything that I do. So we currently have like 17 projects.
Wow.
But we have only a few of them in operation. Again, remember, it's all about finding out what are the current problems and launching things that solve those problems at the time. It makes no sense to launch all 17 and there's no need for it. Good. So right now we have the Entrepreneurship Readiness Program. So that helps you to plan, start, manage, and grow and sell your business. So you get consulting, training, coaching, workshops, boot camps, competitions, and I work directly with List Value on this for personal development training as well.
One quick question on that to insert, is that for just entrepreneurs in St. Lucia? Is that global? Like, how can people access those training and
Okay, so
programs?
it is actually open to anybody in the region who's interested, but
Okay.
of course some of them are only open to locals, because I have to have some bit of bias, to a little bit, because of course I have to help develop people in my own community.
I hear you. I
So
hear you.
I'm all about developing my own, and then by extension, once my own are all set, then I can reach out
Good.
to others. So the flagship program of Slatera is actually Startup Huddle St. Lucia, and I'm
Okay.
really proud of this program. It is actually held the second Wednesday of each month, and of course, Mervin, you were a guest at one
Yes,
of
I was.
the
Yes, it was
events.
amazing. It was very amazing.
Yes. So what we do is that we assist entrepreneurs, startups that are in operation from 6 months to 3 years, to give them a platform where they can be themselves, share their
Yeah.
story, and of course share their challenges. And we find expert panel who are experienced in the very same industry to offer free guidance and tips and resources. And the audience that of course attends offers the same. You may not be able to get money or cash or seed funding from the event, but just know that just by being there, all that value that you get in it from the resources, the connections and the advice, that can really amplify your startup in ways and means that you never even noticed.
Good.
And of course, I cannot name all of the programs, but right now we're working on the Entrepreneurship World Cup St. Lucia, and that one is a big
Nice.
deal.
Nice.
Last year we crowned our 2020 winner, and the year before we had our 2019 winner, Penny Pinch from 2019 and Engage from 2020. And these guys are in the tech space, and that right now is leading the charge in the market.
Good.
So we're really happy to work with entrepreneurs, but just so people know, we don't only work with entrepreneurs, we work with students as well.
Good.
We provide them a platform where they can understand how they can fit into the market besides just looking for a regular paying job. Because each of these students and these young people need to know that, hey, you have skills that you can go to school and be an entrepreneur. So we're actually training student entrepreneurs as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we also help to empower students in terms of their writing skills. So with the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition, each year we recognize writers, local writers in our space. And just in January, during St. Lucia Nobel Laureate Week, we crowned 5 young writers, who emerged out of these 13,000 entries. And, we were able to pull in partners locally to help, of course, recognize these students. So what we do in terms of Slatera, we don't compete with anybody. We're all about partnering and collaborating. That's what we're all
That's
about.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, I applaud all the efforts that you're doing, and I want to encourage everyone who's in St. Lucia connecting with you, but then also in the region connecting what Michelle is doing and their team is doing, because it excites me that you're having a massive reach in terms of connecting with entrepreneurs, students, and really empowering them. So guys, don't go anywhere yet. We're not finished with Miss Michelle. We have one more guest we want to bring on, but we'll have all our guests back later on for some Q&A as we dive into some strategies and tips and tactics and how to kind of get our skill set developed, get our business developed, get different areas developed. So thank you again for sharing your story, sharing all that you're working on. And it's very exciting. I actually look forward to learning more, and we got to get you back on to kind of go more in depth in some of these areas for sure. So thank you for your time as well.
And thank you. See you in a minute.
Awesome. All right, guys. So again, I just want to, as you guys can see, we have a packed night. We're going back to back with our guests. And I want to encourage you guys, again, let's use the comment section. We have some amazing comments coming in support of our guests. Keep it coming. Let us know again where you're tuned in from, and share this with someone else so that they can also get access to this input and tune in to the show. For those who's tuned in on the national channel, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you want to participate, send a WhatsApp message to 623-7898, and we will get those messages and get them on the air as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring on our final guest for the evening, and she is from Trinidad and Tobago. We had a very great conversation last week as well, and I'm looking forward to continuing that discussion. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Miss Debbie Jollie. Miss Debbie, how are you doing this evening?
I am great, Mervin. How are you?
I am doing fine. It's great to have you with us this evening.
It's great to be here.
Awesome. So, Miss Debbie, tell us a little bit. I know who you are. I mean, we had a great talk last week. I've been doing a lot of research and following a lot of your work and your comments online. So I know who you are, but our audience might not know who you are, and Belize might not know who you are as yet. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right, great. Quickly, I'm Debbie Jollie, the stammering communicator, as you see behind there. I use that tagline because I stammered terribly as a child, and it's something I put out there that I share my story with. I call myself a little bit of a hybrid. I'm a sales and marketing consultant. So I help B2B firms as well as entrepreneurs develop very strong sales and marketing strategies that will help them to grow that top line, grow their sales, grow their company, and really get more clients.
Awesome. So what got you into that space? Like what was that thing that really propelled you into this entrepreneurial space and the sales and marketing space as well?
Wow. Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My father is an entrepreneur. I mean, that was the model, and that is what I saw. But really, I kind of fell into it in 2013. In 2013, after spending very, very long in one of my last corporate jobs, the company downsized, they laid off staff, and I was literally out of a job.
Wow.
And so I had to muster what I thought I knew and really create something that would begin to generate income for me. So yeah, I fell into it. Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of the things you had to tell yourself during that time? I mean, getting laid off from a job, being without work. I mean, I'm asking that question because there's a lot of people right now that they're in that space. I mean, a lot of companies had to downsize because of COVID. People aren't getting back their full hours. They're not getting their full salary. And a lot of people are depressed. Let's be honest and real. A lot of people are struggling, a lot of mental battles. What were some of the things that you had to tell yourself to get out of that and get back on the horse and get things moving?
I used my grit, and I just said, listen, I just can't roll over. I'm going to have to muster up the strength. So in the beginning you go, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. What am I going to do? At the time I was also a part-time lecturer, so I depended a lot on that. But within, I would say, 3 to 5 months, I opened up a boutique. And so I used the resources that I had at the time, and I'm a person that really goes into survival mode. And I think that's what persons kind of have to do. And I want to reinforce a little bit of what Michelle said before, which is you really have to know what you're good at. You can't just exist in a corporate world. Things are changing now. So you really have to, as an individual, know what you're good at, because you never know what can occur. And you may have to fall on these skills that you have acquired. And that's how I evolved. But I really just said, listen, I have a son. I need to get working. I have to get things going. I just have to get things done. Yeah.
That's good. I love that. I love that attitude. Even as we open up, attitude is everything, right? And so our attitude determines our altitude. It determines how high we go. It determines how whether we stay stuck or whether we push forward. So I love that attitude. So tell me a little bit, Miss Debbie, what drives you? What's your passion? Like what gets you up every day and to push? Because you're doing some amazing things. You're connecting with people. You're helping people get their lives and their business figured out. So what's driving that for you?
Driving it for me is so many things. It's not really one thing at all. I have always been kind of determined. and self-resilient. I have of a son, he's depending on me. I work for him. You know, I have parents and family I want to make proud. So I continue to work. And there is an inherent pull in me to always try to do my best, to always try to be better the next day, to always try to serve my clients better, to always try to kind of, you know, to keep going. So it's like a personal development. It's a drive. You know, I mentioned it. I think in Trinidad they always say you have a little bit of bad mind, which means you always want to push ahead. So I am a person that, as a female, I've heard a lot of no's, and I will always say, forget you. I'm going to do what I want to do. So that's what drives me.
That's good. That's good. You know, last week we were talking a little bit about you coming to a space where you had to kind of seek out help and get a coach to help you kind of get over that hump, get over that hurdle. Tell us a little bit about that process and what that was like for you.
Right. So I think for anybody who is either new in entrepreneurship or has been an entrepreneur for a little bit of time, everybody hits a brick wall, and no one person stores all the skills in business. They're not the greatest in HR and finance and operations and sales and marketing. So at some point in time, you really do need help. And at times you hit a brick wall and you're not sure of the direction. And I hit a brick wall in 2016. I felt as though I was doing all the things I thought I knew to do, but it wasn't giving me the return I wanted.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I said, listen, maybe, and because I think I'm fairly self-aware, I said, listen, maybe I need a coach. And I think it has been one of the best things I've done. I've used 3 coaches since 2016 to now, and they have all helped in giving me clarity, a sense of purpose, a sense of direction.
Good.
And that's what I believe in. I believe that we all need help at some point in time, and coaches can do that for a lot of entrepreneurs and even persons who have big firms. You know, you really do at some point in time need a little bit of guidance.
Yeah. I know we had talked a little bit about how you went about choosing that coach, and it's important to kind of have a process and how you select who works with you. Tell us a little bit for the benefit of for the audience and those who might be thinking, hey, I need a coach, I need some help. I know I had to seek out a coach as well, and I have a coach as well that's been helping me. But tell us a little bit about that process and how you advise someone seeking and finding a coach to work with you.
Right. I don't think you can decide today you want a coach and pick up a coach tomorrow. I think you have to do a significant amount of research. Online, we have so many gurus, so many consultants, so many coaches, and you're bombarded with information. So the first thing I would tell anybody is really do your research. Research the individuals out there, see what they have to offer, and is it in alignment with you? Because I think one of the major things is that a coach needs to have a balance. They need to connect. They need to guide you, and therefore both of you have to be in synergy. And so it is important to do a significant amount of research on them to make sure that they are legit. The things that they are saying are in actuality, and really to make sure that that person's energy, their vibe, what they give out, what their sense of their sense of purpose is in alignment with yours. Good. And so my coaches have all been Caribbean based. One is actually based in England, but she's originally from the Caribbean. And so I felt as though those persons' journey could be similar to mine, because that person could map out exactly what they did. And it could mirror mine in some way. So that was the connection that I looked for.
It's very good. You know, I want to ask you the same question that I asked Miss Michelle earlier. You're a mom, you have your business you're running, as well as your life and family. How do you balance it all?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that exists. I don't know if it exists. I think you do the best with what you have. I have had times that I've just felt completely burnt out, and there are times that I feel like, okay, it's working. And I gave you the story about T.D. Jakes. He said a wonderful thing that a few years ago that just stuck with me. And he said, as business people, we are balancing a lot of things, or as professionals, we balance a lot of things. We balance family, you balance your career, you balance your spirituality, you balance, exercise, fitness, everything you're balancing. And he said, you are like a juggler. And essentially, you are throwing up these balls, these balls that represent your career, your personal development, your health, your business, everything. And he said, once you do not drop the same ball, you're going to be okay. And
I like that.
And that stuck with me. So I am not trying to be a perfect human. I'm not trying to be a perfect parent. I'm not trying to be a perfect entrepreneur. I'm very driven, but I have to be forgiving when I fall. And I live with that consciously, that I'm not going to always throw the family ball down because I want to be so much in my business. I need to have a balance, and there are times when I need to just stop particular things and move in a different direction, and that works.
I love that. I love that, and that is so key. Being forgiven, like forgiving yourself and giving yourself grace, that and giving yourself the ability to adjust and change, right? And then I remember last week you also said the whole thing of, the family. There's times when the family's sacrificing, and there's times you're sacrificing, and the family knows that, okay, this is our time to jump in behind you. And then there's times where you make the switch to jump in and, hey, I'm going to sacrifice this. I love that. I really love that. Well, what I want to do, is there any, what are you working on right now, and what are you really proud of that you want to kind of give a highlight and shout out to right now?
Wow, I'm working on a couple of things. What I really hope to get out by the first week of March is my second ebook that really looks at all of the tactics and the strategies in terms of sales and marketing that I learned in 2020. That was really a challenging year for everybody. And so based on my discussions with other entrepreneurs and what I learned, I'm putting that together. It is 2 months late, but that is one of the major things that I am working on, and I'm continuing to work with clients regionally and really enjoying just culturally being a part of this whole Caribbean community.
Very good. And guys, I want to encourage you to go to debbiejollie.com and download her first ebook. I'm actually going through it right now. I got it yesterday, and I'm starting to go through it. And I want to encourage you guys to go through it. And we got to bring you back to talk about that new book, because I think actually we have a segment specifically on strategies and tactics for marketing and sales. So we're going to bring you back definitely for that, and to kind of maybe talk about the book. But I want to thank you for joining us tonight and just sharing your journey and your story. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to have all our guests back with us for a quick Q&A. So if you guys have questions, this is the time to start load them up in the comment section, because we want to get your questions in. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Debbie, for giving your insights to us.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then when we get back, we are going to be joined by all our guests.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all the web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, TAS will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
People daily seek to connect to something meaningful, something eternal, something they can invest their time, energy, and money into.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
Connect to Belize. We use graphic art, videos, websites, and social platforms to connect businesses, organizations, and individuals to what's most valuable, people. If you're imagining your information on the web, on a poster or video, TAS will make it happen. So go ahead and plan your wedding. We'll capture it for you. Document the things you want to remember, and we'll compile it for you. Write your songs, and we'll record you. Don't stop there. Go bigger. Paint it, and we'll billboard it. Brochure it, banner it, and postcard it. Business card, bookmark, and catalog it. If it sounds like too much, business package it. Because we do that too, and we've got you. We are committed in heart and mind. And what we do it well.
Make a connection to Belize for all the graphic designs and advertising needs. Connect to Belize for all your web designs and branding needs.
All right, and we are back. We are back for our last segment Q&A, and we're just gonna jump in because of time. We don't have a lot of time on our hands. So the first question I wanted to ask our guests tonight is, how do you guys define success? How do you define success? And any one of us can just start to share. Let's start with Miss Michelle. How do you define success?
Okay, that's a great question, Mervin. So for me, success is knowing that whatever you put your effort into, that it is well received by the audience that you are delivering it to, and that audience is impacted enough for them to also produce. So there must be some fruit of your labor. So that is really what success looks like to me. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial success or growth in terms of status, but as long as the people that you are assisting reach their level or reach where they need to be, and they can recommend you to others, that's definitely a way to define success.
Very good, very good. Miss Gill, how do you define success?
Much along the same lines like Michelle, for me, success means that having done what I have to do to the best of my ability, I leave the place where I am existing a little better off than I found it.
Very good. And Miss Debbie?
Wonderful. My success I define as more peace of mind and a sense of purpose and happiness. And I say that because I think most persons define success in a financial way, and I look at it as though my business is supposed to give me a certain level of freedom. I am supposed to have a certain level of fulfillment. And if my life is in alignment in that way and I'm feeling good, then that is success for me. It doesn't have to be a financial figure.
Very good. I love that. And so for you guys, if there was one advice you would give to entrepreneurs, startups, what would that advice be?
From my end, Mervin, the advice I would give to entrepreneurs starting up is, one, make sure that you have a passion for the enterprise in which you hope to enter. Many people jump into something because they think it will bring them quick money, and it might not be something they are passionate about, and in a little bit that lack of passion will show itself up for what it truly is. So make
That's
sure
good.
you have an interest and you have a passion for that business you hope to launch.
Very good. Miss Michelle?
Yes, I really like that question. I'm going to basically respond in from a different perspective, because I'm a woman of faith. I also believe in whatever God has for you, nobody can take it from you or prevent you from getting it done. So I believe that if something is for you, you have to go to him first, seek him first, and then he will guide you and give you the steps in order to, he will basically put things in place for you step by step, and then you will be able to make it. But again, I agree that passion is definitely also a key for it as well, because at the end of the day, when you see the pressure start to pile up on you, then you will start to say, oh my gosh, why did I go into this? And then you want to give up. But when you have the passion for something and you are driven, then definitely you can make it.
Awesome. Miss Debbie?
I wanted to say stay consistent. I think that is the overwhelming thing I see with entrepreneurs. They start, they stop, they start, they stop, they think things don't work and those type of things. And I say any strategy or any effort you put into your business, stay consistent. Only after you're consistent, then you begin to see results.
Consistency is so key. I love that. I love that. So if there's what key activities you recommend entrepreneur invest in, there's a lot of different things to try, but sorry about that. What key activities would you advise entrepreneur to invest their time in?
Okay, well, I can definitely take that one first. And that is, of course, where I found a lot of the value for me is in networking, meeting with people, connecting with people. There's a lot of value in finding other people that may have the same interests as you, because a lot of times entrepreneurs think that they are alone and they're the only ones struggling with a particular problem. But once you realize that there are others just like you, there's a community of people that are just like you'd be able to feel at home with those people. So don't be afraid to reach out there and connect with persons. And having a mentor is also really, really important. Somebody that is your support system. It may not necessarily be somebody from your family, but it could be a friend. It could be somebody who has struggled in their time coming up, and they see themselves in you. You find a lot of times that there are people who have been in business for a while and they say, I see myself in you, so I want to help you. But you first have to take that step to show that you're willing to go out on a limb to help yourself. If you stay within your comfort zone in that box, nobody can find you.
Very good. Very good. Miss Gill?
Thank you, Mervin. I think that staying relevant is also another key that I would like to encourage in any entrepreneur. Not because you learned something in 2016, that's the only way it can be done. Things change continuously. Technology is always on the move. And so I think staying relevant, when you attach that relevance to your passion, I think then you have that key to success.
Very good. And Miss Debbie?
Okay, I think they give brilliant answers. The networking is important. And I reinforce that because I really believe now there's such a wonderful community of entrepreneurs online, and you can leverage that. But I also want to say to entrepreneurs, focus on sales. A lot of entrepreneurs focus on a whole lot of other things. They have a lot of activity that don't produce results, and then they get frustrated because they're not seeing a return on their effort. So I always say focus on the customer, listen to the customer, find out what they are saying, satisfy that need, and I think you'll stay, in a good space.
It's very good. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We're actually out of time. We have 1 minute to go. I want to thank you guys for tuning in this evening, for just contributing to the discussion. And and just kind of being a part of really helping to develop the entrepreneurial space and to help develop people, right? So thank you guys so much for your insight tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in on the Creative Monday Discussion Show. Thank you guys for making this show your show. And we will see you guys again next week. Same time, same place right here on the national channel, as well as my Facebook and YouTube channel. So we'll see you again. Have a great evening. God bless you. And we are signing off.